Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Eating While Broke. Oh, hold on one sec. You may actually want to turn it off for now, and then when we start, turn it back on. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Eating While Broke. I'm your host, Coline Witt, and today we have very special guest, world-renowned dancer in the building, and owner of wellness brand Be Greater Than.
Yes.
In the building, Ashley Everett.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, girl.
Yeah,
Happy to be here.
I was excited. I was on a phone call with a friend, and he was like, "Have you had Ashley on the show?" And I was like, "Ashley, what?" And then I heard a little bit of Beehive was involved. I said, "Yes, we got to have her. We got to find out what your story is." I know you got your start on like so you can dance, right? Or why am I spacing on the name of the show?
Well, the name of the show, you thinking about So You Think You Can
So
Dance?
You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah,
right.
but I did not do that show. No.
You did not?
No.
What?
I mean, I really started with Beyonce. Like that is where commercially how people started to recognize me and get to know me.
What?
Isn't that crazy?
I don't know why I read that somewhere and I don't know. I messed up.
No, I've worked on the show, on the choreographer's side, as an assistant and stuff like that. I know a lot of people who have danced on the show. Mm-hmm. I almost auditioned for the show at one point, but I didn't end up doing it.
I think just saying you started with Beyonce, yeah, we should never ever scratch that narrative. That narrative doesn't exist.
Wild, right?
Yeah.
But at 17 at that.
At 17?
17.
Oh my God, I can't wait to get into this story. But before we get into the story, I must know what you're going to have me eating today.
Oh my gosh, girl. We are making iconic ramen noodles.
Iconic.
Yeah, but it's elevated.
It's elevated. Yeah, because, we don't allow just ramen on the show. We are anti-ramen. After 75 episodes? No, you can't just submit ramen and be on the show.
Only ramen and just the package.
I literally sent an email back no. What are you doing to the ramen?
Yeah, we're elevating it.
So what are you doing to elevate your ramen?
We're adding some chicken. We're gonna grill it up on skillet it up. And then we're going to add a hard-boiled egg if you like eggs. I like to add a little green in there, a little vegetable of some sort, either cabbage or spinach. And then we have some corn. I love corn. I hear there's no benefits to it, but I love corn. So
I absolutely love corn. And every time someone tries to tell me how terrible corn is and how it doesn't benefit us.
It doesn't do anything for us. It's not bad for us, though, either. It's not good, not bad. It's just corn.
I guess it's because it goes in and out the same way, whatever, not that we want to think about that right now, but I will say that after living in LA, the way LA does corn is very unique. I remember the first time someone did the corn with the mayo and the butter and the Parmesan cheese. I was like, y'all crazy. I took one bite and I said, well, crack.
I know.
I get another one.
I know, and it's so popular out here.
It's so popular. I literally there would be days where I'll be driving through the streets where are you? Where are you? Yo. And then I always tell people never to haggle the street vendors, because if you do the research on those street vendors, they're not even making $100 a day profit. They're really struggling.
I know.
So I'm always
they're doing it for the passion and the heart. Should I get started?
Yes, get started.
Okay.
Get started. So while you're making this elevated ramen, take me back to either when you was eating ramen before it became elevated, before you became the chef of I've had ramen so many times, I got to elevate it. Take me back to what was going on then.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I've been eating ramen noodles probably my entire life. I'm a dancer first before anything, before an entrepreneur, before model, actor, any of that. I'm a dancer. I've been dancing since I was 2. And, started with ballet. Started with ballet at the studio. I'm going to make... Should I do one at a time? Or should I put
you could put both. You could break it.
Yeah,
do you usually cook at home?
Yeah.
Well, you could break this one and just put it on the sides. You got this.
Yeah. You mean break it and put it in?
Yeah. Well, what I do sometimes is I'll break it in half and then just drop 2 pieces in, you know?
Well, I already put that first one in regular.
Yeah.
But
that's
we
fine.
Do this one a little different.
That's fine.
Oh, sorry. We're making a mess, girl.
We got you cooking.
Okay. Yeah, see, and the reason why we're doing ramen is because a lot of people think like when you're on tour with a superstar that like life is like all this glitz and glam and luxury all the time.
That's what I be thinking. I be like, what you mean? They don't show up with like, they give you like don't they give you, what do they call it? The little budget every day per diem?
Per diem, yeah.
Do you get those?
Per diem. Yeah.
But
it's like, that's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for you to feed yourself every day. So, you know, it's like, depending on where you are, like a normal per diem is like 75 to maybe 100, maybe 150 if you're like overseas somewhere a day, you know, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay. So they're like simple meals, you know, everything else is on your own. And we eat a lot of ramen. We're on tour buses a lot. We're like backstage a lot, but we like live on the tour bus on the road. So,
oh my gosh.
And you're limited there, girl. We don't have all this. We don't have a stove. We only got the microwave and like, you know, whatever, cooking it in the fridge, you know, all that. So I ate a lot of ramen noodles in my early tour days and stuff. So, and then as we got older and all that, like once we got home, I still liked ramen noodles, you know, that's like a quick go-to meal of mine, but we learned how to like elevate it. We like started adding the kitchen.
Of course, you know? Of course. I love hearing people's remakes on ramen.
Yeah.
So you started dancing at the age of 2.
I started when I was 2.
I'm guessing your mom or who was the one that was like, we're going to put your little booty in ballet?
My mom, put me in ballet at 2.5. And she like comes from the arts. I say she like vicariously lives through me. She's like my biggest fan. She's gonna start following you after this, girl. She's gonna be all over it, reposting everything. Like she's on.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
are
like,
you an only child or?
No, I'm the only girl though.
Oh, okay.
And I'm the baby.
Okay.
I have 2 brothers. That's also like why I'm a little tomboyish, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, so she put me in dance because she always like wanted to dance and wanted to sing, dance, act, all of that. I took her to the Michael Jackson musical, which is here in LA. You should go see it.
Is it really good?
It's so good, girl. And she loved it. She was like, if I could do this right now at my age, I would get up there and sing and dance in this ensemble. I'm like, oh, I love that.
Dang, I didn't even know that's happening. I'm gonna look it up now.
Yeah, you gotta go see it, girl. It's so good. Should I start with this chicken?
Yeah, go ahead, start.
I'm gonna start with the chicken, and I'm gonna,
You got it.
We're just cooking. We're
like, cooking. We're like 2 homegirls.
Yeah.
Hanging.
Is this on?
I don't know. Did you turn it on?
I did turn it on.
Okay, it's on. It's warming up. It's electric.
I know. I don't have that. I have fire, girl.
Yeah. That's the real way to go.
Fancy stuff.
Yeah. This was originally when we designed the table. We didn't know. I thought we were just gonna pop up on people's backyards with the table and shoot at their houses and stuff. I didn't really have a full plan on how we were gonna do Eating While Broke. I just knew we needed a cooktop, and that's how we did that. But
we're making it work.
So
we love it.
So your mom's having you do all the artsy things.
Yeah, she put me in dance when I was young, and I just like fell in love with it. I started with ballet, and I was like that quiet girl, the student, just like focused, you know, paying attention, like wanting to learn. I loved it. And I think I naturally like was decent at it. And then when I was like, when did I start traveling? Around like 13, no, maybe it was a little younger, like 12. I started doing summer intensives, and that's like really
in ballet or
in ballet, modern. I did competitions like growing up too. So that was like where the hip hop and the jazz and the tap and all the other styles came in. So I would do nutcrackers during the winter and competitions during the spring. And that was like my dance life, like reality, you know, it was like my job as a kid.
And your mom was fully invested in taking you around and all of that.
Yep. Stay at home mom, just in it, you know.
She was in it. She was invested. Was it ever hard on you dealing with a mom that was like really that in it?
No, she was never like a crazy dance mom, like what the Abby Lees and all that.
Yeah.
She was never crazy like that.
Okay.
I'm going to do just like a few little pieces.
Okay.
Are you going to eat some?
You're gonna have some, yeah, you're cooking for both of us. Okay, they didn't tell you? Okay,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. You might be like vegan or something, girl.
No,
you only put 1 egg. So
that's what it said. It said hard-boiled egg. So I pre-boiled that right before you came too. I was trying to help you out, but I get to rate the dish, judge the dish.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Not rating.
It's funny because I have a 2-year-old daughter, and I know her little best friend at school does ballet. And I'm like, are they old enough to really understand at that age
what they're doing?
Yeah, at ballet, you know. But it's interesting. You started at that age.
Well, it teaches you like discipline, you know, and like how to follow, and like I just think it teaches yeah, that's what, I have this conversation a lot because I have nieces and nephews. I don't have any children, but nieces and nephews. And I feel like they're older. They're like in their teens and stuff, like 17, 15. And I feel like they're like, if they're not into anything, they're like, it's crazy, girl. Like they need to be involved in something, So like,
I heard a parent tell me that the other day.
Really early, or like a sport or whatever, teaches them discipline. Like, and then once them, I feel like that's why I'm so disciplined. Like, and I can like, I know how to like make myself disciplined, or like, I'm a hard worker. Like I will work hard and blood, sweat, tears, like all of that. So I don't know.
Did you ask your mom, like, was it like she saw you dancing? I know I'm getting all stuck into the details, but I'm genuinely curious. Did she notice you were into like music and then she put you in, or was it like,
no, she just put me in it. Okay. I think hoping I liked it.
Okay.
And I did.
Awesome. So you're doing all these competitions and you're doing different types of dance.
Yep. Okay. This is like all in my younger years. Is there?
And were you watching the like Save the Last Dance movies
oh my God,
and all
girl,
that? Because those movies would make you want to dance, right?
Save the Last Dance was like that's why. So I don't know if you know this, but I was about to go to Juilliard. Juilliard was like a dream of mine, and that's like the story of Save the Last Dance. She like wants to go to Juilliard, but then like starts doing hip hop and like all this was like a ballet girl. And I'm like, that was me, because I was like a ballet girl, but then I like would do hip hop too. And I went to Juilliard's summer intensive when I was 16. I auditioned for the college when I was 17. I got accepted, and then I auditioned for Beyonce's tour and went on tour at 17. And I was like, oh, okay. So
and were you still in high school?
I was still in high school. And I went to a high school in New York City called Professional Children's School. That like, it was all professional children, like ice skaters, actors, ballet dancers, musicians. And they like allowed us to leave school to work. And so I got that job, and it was like alignment, girl, like perfect alignment.
Did you have the job before you went to the school, or did you?
No, I moved to New York at 16. My parents put me in private school for the first time ever, professional children's school.
What made them want to move you?
They saw my potential.
And they moved the whole family.
Yeah, my parents are in real estate, so just my mom and I moved. My dad like came with us, set us up, and then he moved back home and like kept raising my brother, who was 18 but just had like graduated from high school and stuff. Okay. And I was 16. And so it was like the sacrifice for the family, for my career and stuff.
They really believed in you. Did you feel any type of pressure with that level of belief in you?
I don't think I realized I did, but maybe I did. Now looking back, and that's why I like feel like if these kids now, I'm like, y'all need to be in something. Don't you want to make us proud? Like I wanted to make my parents proud because they like believed in me so much. And now that we're having this conversation, I'm like, oh, maybe I was like pressuring myself. Even still, I'm like, I owe them so much. Yeah. Like, are you getting emotional?
I can't watch people cry, by the way, because I'm like looking at you.
Parents, girl, I'd be like, because they did so much for me.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Well, cooking and crying. This is the name of the new show, girl. Cooking and crying.
I love when it sounds terrible, but I love when people cry on the show, because I think it's like you're taking it
because you said it before, and I was like,
but I think it's because you're like, the cool thing about the whole Eating While Broke experience is like, I'm trying to get you back into that like seat of the beginning. You are really here's a little tissue.
I know, girl. I know. Once I started, thank you.
So when
Once I started, it doesn't stop.
So you get into this school. Your parents get you into this school. A team effort gets you into this school.
Yeah.
And
I booked Beyonce.
You
at
booked
the same
Beyonce.
Time.
What year was that? What Beyonce album was going on at that time? Because
this is the B-Day album. That's like when I started.
That was the whole to the left. No,
I think
in the box to the irreplaceable. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think
there was a bunch of great records. I'm a diehard Jay-Z fan. So, and my twin sister is a diehard Beyonce fan, which is kind of weird because they're together now. But like, I was always a diehard Jay, and then he gets with Beyonce, and now she's like, "You ain't listening to the Beyonce record." I'm like, "You ain't listening to Jay-Z record."
Yeah. Did you guys go to On the Run?
I'm sure my sister did. My sister did a whole custom.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna burn it. I'm just trying to like brown it.
But no, On the Run. No, I mean, I've only been to one Jay-Z concert. That's it. I mean, I'll be having my money is always funny.
Girl, one of the things that I like love to brag about is like I can say I was a Jay-Z dancer. Like that's cool to me because
hell yeah,
he's one of the coolest people. I named my dog after him. Like his name is Hove.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's like one of the coolest people ever. And
really?
He's like he's like just so smart too, and like really nice, like a really nice guy. So
yeah,
and always like been consistent.
Consistent. You mean consistent in character?
Yeah.
Or
and like with me, to me personally, because I'm speaking personally, but yeah.
You know, I say this on almost every episode, but I have an original one-of-a-kind painting of Jay-Z in the lobby.
Oh,
my little tiny lobby. You'll look at it afterwards, be like, oh, that's Jay. I got it custom made when I was like 24.
Over here.
It's huge.
By who?
My mom. I was like, Mom, I'll pay you whatever if you can make this painting on a 5-foot canvas for me. And then she didn't ship it to me till like 4 years later after I bought my first house.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so shout outs. It's one of a kind. She always calls me, Jay would buy it. I'm like, Mom.
Look, this is coming together real quick, girl.
Yeah, you fast with it.
I'm only doing that amount of chicken. How much you want? You want some more than that?
I mean, it's okay.
You want
it's
the whole
okay because you know what? We're gonna be hearing your story. You sounds like you have a lot of stories. So
I'll be like,
what are you
multitasking, girl? Sometimes I'd be like scatterbrained.
Where are you when you find out that first of all, where are you when you? I want to know what's going on in your head when you're auditioning, but I also want to know where you were when you found out you booked it.
I was at home when I found out I booked it. Home meaning in New York because I had moved to New York, 16. This all happened in the year of. Is there like a trash?
You could just use that bowl. Oh no. Yeah, use that bowl. You're not cooking that chicken anyways.
Okay, we know. Okay. We'll keep it off camera or something. Okay. Yeah. So. Oh, what were we saying? I auditioned for her when I was 17. Still, this is like at the end of 06. And I'm going to turn this all the way down. Is this one?
Yes. 2006. Okay.
I'm actually going to turn it off. Yeah, end of 06. I'm senior in high school.
And they knew you were a 17-year-old.
They eventually knew I was a 17-year-old. I don't think like when I was first auditioning, they knew. Once they like wanted to book me and stuff, they like asked me how old I was and like, what my situation was because I lived in New York. And they asked me to fly to LA and shoot a bunch of music videos. And that was the B-Day album. My first music video ever and my first job like with her was the Get Me Bodied music video.
Okay.
Do you know that song? How does it go? I ain't worried to me tonight. Sweat never hurt nobody.
Yeah, I remember that video. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm in that video. And then like 2 days later, I shot the Green Light music video. And they put me like right next to her. And I remember on set, everybody kept just saying like, you guys really like resemble each other. Our hair was slicked back in a bun. And we're like standing like side by side, like, or like in a line. Profile and everybody was like, you guys just resemble each other, like, are you related? And whatever. And I remember her mom saying that she was like on set. That was when she was doing wardrobe and stuff like that. And yeah, I remember them like saying stuff about me on that set. And so after those music videos, I went back to New York and got a call to be a part of the tour. That's like how the tour stuff like started. And then I went on tour. This is at the top of 07, my senior year of high school, but I went to the professional children's school that allowed me to like leave school and work and go on tour. I came back in June. I graduated, walked with my class, caught up on my schoolwork, went back on tour, and then dropped out of my dream college because tour was going.
What, dream college in Juilliard?
Juilliard, yeah.
Get the freak out.
Dropped out because I was enrolled, girl. I was enrolled. I was supposed to start like September 7th or something. I remember like very vividly. And I dropped out like the 1st, like literally a week before. I'm not mad because the spot actually went to a friend of mine who also was another dancer in New York. And I was like, great, that's cool. She was also Black. I was like, okay, because there was only like one of us at the time, girl. It was always like one little token. And then I went back on tour for like a month and then was like, now what with my career? Now what do we do?
Oh, now what were your parents saying too when you're like, were they involved in the discussion of you possibly leaving Juilliard and...
Yes, they were, and that was like my first like adult decision. They were like, we support you either way. we're here for you, you know, whatever you want to do, we support you, you know.
Wow.
Juilliard is great option. Beyonce, you want to keep touring and start your career? Also great. You know?
And let's go back to that first. So your first time working with her, what are your thoughts when you're standing next to her? Are you nervous at all, or are you just like, I got this in the bag? Like, what?
Oh my gosh, like first time working with her. I mean, I was just like so green and like didn't know anything about the industry, but also like coming from the ballet world, very like, you know, like disciplined. Okay. So like
ballet requires a lot of discipline, huh?
Oh my God, what girl? They be like hitting you with rulers and stuff, and you're like, like tighten up, you know? Like it's very like, okay, like Russians and stuff. So yeah.
And when you were going to ballet and all that stuff, were there kids that looked like you? When I say that, black, and you know what I'm trying to say.
No,
are you're mixed, right?
Yeah. I'm
what
mixed.
are you? Black and white.
Black and white.
Okay, I'm black and white too.
Oh, you are. Who's
I'm
white?
Jewish and Jamaican. I have a white father.
I have a white dad too.
Okay, cool.
Which is like
it's very rare. Yeah, I always see it the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah. If there was a lid, I would put a lid on, but
there's a lid in the back, but it's okay. It's okay.
We're just gonna let her simmer down on her own. This is so funny because you know when you're like not cooking in your kitchen, you're like everything's a little different.
Yeah. And you're trying to keep it like tidy and all that,
and it's not. It's going all over the place. Look at me. See? Okay, we're gonna let that simmer.
So take me back to the first time you're working alongside her. Like, what are your thoughts? Clearly, your posture and everything's on point. And you did practice before, like they make you practice a lot before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do a lot of rehearsals. And this is back like in the beginning of her like branching off from
the Destiny's
Child and all of that. So she was like involved and included in a lot, you know, like always in rehearsals, like there all day with us. Just like involved a lot. And even taking you back a little bit further, before I even auditioned, I was training at Alvin Ailey. You've heard of Alvin Ailey before? Mm-mm. It's a modern company, like black modern company in New York. It's one of the most famous ones. And that's the school I was like dancing at. And I thought I was going to be like in the company there. I thought they were going to like recruit me while I was like, before I graduate high school or whatever. And Beyonce was rehearsing at the studio because it was one of the like nicest, most beautiful, like bigger studios in New York for people to rent out and rehearse at. And she was rehearsing for some awards show at Radio City in New York. And her choreographer was outside of the rehearsal room, and he stopped me, like, just based on my looks. I was in a leotard and tights, girl, bun, whatever. But everybody had heard, like, Beyonce was there. Yeah. There was a security guard standing out. Like, you know, word gets around, especially at, like, a dance studio or whatever. So everybody was, like, kind of, like, whispering. I had, like, a class down there, so I was kind of just, like, oh, whatever. And the choreographer stops me, and he's like, excuse me, can I talk to you for a second? I'm like, yes. What do you want to know? And he's like, you're very beautiful. Like, do you do more than ballet? I see you do ballet. I'm like, yes, I do ballet, modern, jazz, hip hop, tap, you know, lyrical, everything. I'm trained.
You're like, here's my whole resume.
Yeah, I'm like, would you like to see me audition? What do you want? And he invited me into the rehearsal space, and that was like my first time meeting her ever. And she was so sweet, and so like just humble, and like she looked like a dancer, you know. Her hair was down and big, and she had no makeup on, she had no shoes on, she was barefoot, just like regular rehearsal clothes, and sweating and just working hard, like all of us in that studio, you know. And it was just beautiful. That was like my first like actual meeting with her, and I was like, oh, this is so nice, you know. And then he took my information, told me he would call me, and never called me. Very like my introduction to the industry. Yeah. I was like, this is what it's like. Got it.
Was he? I hate to ask this, but do you think he was like trying to holler at low key, or was he just like unprofessional?
No. I think he was actually like genuinely, because he is like known in this industry for kind of finding and discovering talent. Wow. He is still, I say, like responsible for discovering me, because he's like a mentor of mine. He's like my father.
So it came full circle in the end. It came
full circle, girl.
Oh, wow.
So like months later, they're having open call auditions, and like all my friends are like, oh, let's go. Beyonce auditions, whatever. And the line is literally like down the block, around the corner. This is in New York City, like 6 blocks, you know? And this is in November. It's freezing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not standing in this line. Like, I'm not doing it. My mom's like my biggest fan, you know.
She like, you gonna stand in this line? We got the tent hooked
Yeah,
up.
she's like, girl, we didn't move all the way to New York for you not to stand in this line. So you go ahead and go on stand in this line. Like, whatever. She always would say, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
And I still tell myself that to this day. Like, anytime I like am wanting to do something or like taking a risk or like a little scared, it's like, what do you have to lose? Like, nothing.
Yeah.
You know, if you have nothing to lose, then go.
Yeah.
So I went. I cut.
I like
with
that
some
attitude.
Friends. Yeah, I cut with some friends. Stood in line for 3 hours still, girl, freezing. But when I got in there, Frank Gatson, the choreographer, recognized me from that time in the dance studio.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, I know you. And like, he's that guy. He remembers faces. He like remembers people and all of that. And he's like, he kept me to the end. Everybody else was getting cut left and right, girl. Like, bye, thank you. Because it was an open call. It was like people off the street, like Beyonce audition. Okay, I want to go. Like, you know, like grandmas. Like,
let me tell you, I tried dancing for like I tried dancing out. It was like I was going through a breakup, and I was like, I'm gonna try all the things that I was always interested in that my parents couldn't afford. And let's just say, dancing is just you definitely, I don't know. It's maybe built for some and not for all, but I was terrible dancer.
You were terrible.
This lady was like, you got to start at the kindergarten level and work your way up.
I mean, you know, it can definitely be taught though. But yeah, I get it. Some people are naturals and then some people need a little more help.
There was some girls that was killing it. And I said, ooh, but I couldn't remember stuff. My memory was bad. Yeah.
That's, a lot of people ask that. Like,
how do you remember all the steps?
It's a muscle.
Yeah.
And muscle memory.
Like, is it? Mm-hmm. And then I think you also have to be very comfortable in your body. Because I'm like always like, even when I see girls do squats and they stick their ass all out, I'm like, I don't know if I'm comfortable doing it.
Being like
all the way
in the right position
to get to the squat. Do you because to hit the squat right,
that's
probably
the right form.
Yeah, but when I see girls do it and I'll be like, I try to do it, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
I feel it.
But
okay, I feel like this is like kind of
okay.
I know it looks raggedy. Give me your bowl. I'll give you a little bit.
So you make it to the end of the audition. Then what happens?
And then I get that call to come to LA and do a bunch of music videos or like, you know, basically audition. It was like a big audition in LA of like 50 dancers, and she was shooting 10 music videos and they didn't know who they were using for what. So that's what it was. Like I came and I stayed for like a week and we did a bunch of rehearsals and I shot 2 music videos and then.
And when you're doing this, does your parents have to pay out of their own pocket or is it like on their dime at this point?
At that point, I think they did ask me. No, I actually think they flew a group of us from New York out and we stayed at a hotel. Yep.
Okay.
I met this other girl. She was in New York too, had like a roommate and all of that. But a lot of times they will ask you if you're willing to come out as a local, which means on your own dime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And when you better serve yourself a plate too.
Yeah.
You gonna eat this with me.
I am. And then we have like other like sriracha if you want to add spice, and then the garlic paste also. That's something I got from the restaurants. Okay. They add a little garlic in theirs and it'd be bomb.
So so after you make, let's skip forward to like after the tour ends for a month. I hate to skip around on y'all, but we're gonna do it.
Skip around.
After you're on tour, you've done the videos, you bail out on Juilliard. You're off tour. You're sitting there like, what's next?
Let me give you chicken.
So tell me what happens next.
So then I'm like, real life, you know, like here we are. Like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Because like tour doesn't mean you're guaranteed a full-time job year round, you know? Like,
but they didn't tell you. Did they tell you it was only going to be a month?
Yeah, they said it was getting extended for like another month. And I was like, okay, I'm willing to take that risk.
Yeah.
You know? So after that, girl, I mean, I'm very blessed and grateful because I have had a great career a dance career, especially of consistently working. Yeah. Consistently.
And you've worked for a lot. So what happens after the tour ends?
So after the tour ends, I'm back in New York. I go home. And I think I'm like auditioning for stuff again. Just like back to you know.
But now you have Beyonce's on your record.
I have that on my resume.
On your resume. Sorry, record.
So now my agents, I'm starting to get a little dose of what it's like to get a direct book, you know, and not have to audition. They're like, oh, we want her in the music video because we recognize her from Beyonce, you know, like that kind of thing.
And so, you're saying agents and managers. So at this point, after her, you get an agent and a manager, or before?
Yeah, because I didn't have an agent before.
Okay, and then how did they how did they find you? They just from the video, they just reach out and say, hey, I
went to them.
Okay.
I said I just got off tour with Beyonce. I need representation, you know, whatever. Actually, I think I got an agent like while I was on tour for them to make sure everything was right, because, you know, we were doing DVD deals and stuff like that. And we needed like just professionals who knew what they were doing. That's what I learned as I got in the industry. Okay. I was very thrown in the industry. You know, I didn't know about agencies and auditions and all that. Like, clearly I went to an open call audition. I didn't go to an invited call, you know? So yeah, I learned by just being in it. But yeah, after tour, girl. So after that first tour, I'm in the grind now, like learning about these other jobs. I'm still living in New York at the time. So I think I actually, after that first tour, the year after, I did the Radio City Rockettes. I was a Rockette. Have you ever seen that show?
No, but I feel like I need to stay in tune with all the shows with you. Here's a list of all the things you need to check out. Okay.
The Rockettes are the girls who do the kick lines.
Oh, yeah.
The women.
Okay,
in
they like the candy cane. Was it called candy cane?
Like
I don't know.
A candy cane kick line. That's what people like refer to it as. Yeah, so I did that for 1 year, and I still to this day say that is like one of the hardest jobs of my life. Girl.
Really? Why? Is it because of the rehearsals?
The rehearsals and the shows. We were doing 4 shows, max 4 shows a day. 4 in one day.
Oh my gosh.
In one. The first one would be
And
like
were
10.
you eating ramen during these days too?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's crazy. So there's like that's crazy because you have this crazy workout ethic, but are you really fueling your body at the level that?
No, I mean, most like athletes, dancers, you know, especially dancers, like maybe athletes probably take better care of themselves. Yeah. I feel like because they got like coaches and stuff. Like we don't. We just be making it work, you know, stretching or whatever. It's crazy.
I'm curious in regards to by the way, out of all the dishes on this show, this by far looks the most restaurant, doesn't it?
Does it?
Look at that. I don't know if the cameras.
I tried to like give it a little aesthetic.
I'm like, literally, if we, like, with all the, I don't know what's going on with my mic, by the way. It's like looking like it wants to fight me. But this dish looks like you could buy it at a restaurant. I don't know. It's so pretty. It's got the green, the yellow. The chicken looks all seasoned. I can't wait to try this. I feel like I'm loving your story. Oh like, my gosh, absolutely, like, live for stories like this because it's like you're carrying me through it. There's 1,000,001 questions I can ask, and I will. Trust me. Girl. I love it though. I will. We did one episode.
We've barely even gotten anywhere.
I know.
Like, we're at like 20.
Bruh, I can't wait. I can't wait. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Let's try this amazing looking dish. It looks good. Let's see if it tastes good.
I know. I don't know what it's going to taste like, y'all. This is not my kitchen.
I'm going to hate a little bit.
Yeah, please.
Okay. It tastes great. I think the corn, I fucking love corn. I don't know why I don't add corn to all my dishes. With the spinach works.
Okay.
You overcook the noodles.
I know. I left them in
But that's because I was talking to you. I left them
I looked over and I was like, these noodles, they soaked up all the water.
Oh, yeah. You didn't even drain, right?
No. Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Noodles are definitely overcooked.
The spinach and the corn.
Yeah, that corn has that little crunch.
The spinach, too. It's just... I'm going to take like 2 more bites and I can question you a lot. I want to try the chicken, too.
See, and, you know, normally we'd be adding like a lot more seasonings and things in there, but, you know.
I love when...
We kept it simple today.
I promise you, guests will come on the show. Oh. And they'll start questioning, like, their cooking skills. And sometimes it's really good. Like, this is really good.
Thanks.
For ramen?
Yeah, I mean, it's like elevated ramen, you know? It's not just the noodles.
Chicken you did great.
Yeah.
You know what? Salt and pepper on chicken isn't that bad.
It's not. Especially if you're trying to be healthier, so. And honestly, smaller pieces like this, that's
I ain't gonna lie, I could kill this whole dish.
I'm so glad you like it. See, girl? Well, now you know how to make it.
That is a great way to make ramen. Chicken, thinly sliced, salt, pepper. You used olive oil or vegetable oil?
I used olive oil for the chicken.
Hands down, amazing ramen. 10 out of 10.
Thanks.
Yeah, good job.
Don't leave the noodles in as long as I did.
The spinach, I think, really adds to it. I don't know why I never thought of that. And you just put the spinach in the water while it was boiling. Awesome. I thought you were going to saute it for some strange reason.
I actually was thinking you would saute it, and it would already be sauteed here.
Oh!
I could just add it in, but, you know.
The only help you got from me was me boiling that one egg.
I don't know why I thought stuff was going to be, like, prepped, and I just, like, put it in the plate.
No. We're going to make you work.
No, you got to cook it, girl. I'm glad you like it.
I'm going to try to stop eating. Because people get annoyed when we're like smacking on the mic, but
I know. I'll be trying not to.
I don't know why it's so delicious. Doesn't it feel delicious to you?
It does. And it's
I'm like, am I starving or is it really delicious?
I don't know. I think it's like the weather's cold too, and it's just like
it's perfect. Great dish. It looks like restaurant quality. Amazing upgrade on the ramen.
Thanks.
Okay, now let's go back to your story.
Where were we?
I wanted to ask actually. So when you were talking about you were doing not the candy cane, the radio
City Rockets.
Yeah, and that was the hardest. So what is your money looking like while you're doing all these projects?
Well, girl, I mean, first of all, like my first tour, like I said, I had no representation. I went to an open call. Like I didn't have anything to compare to. So my first like tour rate was much lower than what it ever should have been, but I didn't know that, you know. But I was so new. Like, you know.
They do tiers like the newer you are versus the older you are?
Yeah, like as I became like dance captain and like, you know, by my last year or whatever, I was at like my highest rate.
Awesome.
And like highest paid dancer because I've been there the longest or whatever, you know. But you gotta fight for that money, girl. Every little
you do have to fight for it.
Every little raise.
Yes. Now, do you go to your team and tell them to push back, or do you?
Oh yeah, damn. That's what the agents are for. You ask them. But you know, as I developed a personal relationship, I guess I would say, it could be in conversation with the right people. But, you know, that's what the agents are for.
Yeah. Because I've seen some managers and agents, to be brutally honest, like, I feel like some of them, I don't want to get caught up in this one, carefully worded. Some of them kind of just take the first offer and are like, you're lucky to have this offer, so we're going to take it. And so I've seen that side. And
I have too. And I've been told that. And I have been that. I've been the grateful, I'll do it for free, girl. Because
that's how I am still to this day. I'm like, oh, you're gonna, okay, thank you, Jesus.
I know.
Should I kiss the pinky ring? And
I know. It's like we're like traumatized a little bit from the way that we were taught to always like be grateful. You're replaceable. You should, you know, like like you are replaceable. That's what I was definitely taught, especially as a dancer. Like, you are replaceable. So don't you step out of your line, you know? Like, we will replace you in a heartbeat. And if you don't take this rate, we'll find somebody who does. Like, are you kidding?
I feel like that's the industry. That's how the industry moves.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know if you saw that thing with Taraji where she was, like, crying.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. But I think Gabrielle Union was saying it long before her, like, how they starting to just collab on text, like, we're all a group. Let's stick to this rate.
Yeah. And Issa Rae always says, like, you know, you gotta, we always are like trying to like work with people who are like up here from us. We have to like collab across, you know, across the table instead of like trying to work with Jeff Bezos and stuff. Like, we're sitting here together, so we should be working together. You know what I mean? Like, you got to collab across the table.
When did you realize that you had to start using your voice when it came to like your money and like saying I want more?
Oh my gosh.
Like, when was that moment when you did it? Like,
I mean, way more recently than what it should have been. Okay. Honestly, like, you know, honestly. But I would say more so like during the pandemic, I really like started owning my what my rate should be, you know, like, and learning that people will pay it, you know, the right people will pay it. So
during the pandemic wasn't everything like shut down for you?
Yeah, but that's like when I started doing a lot more social media stuff during the pandemic, and I just was paid my rate. That's like when I started learning like that my rate could be better in situations, you know. It was like, oh.
What did your parents say when you had the epiphany that like you wanted more?
Well, my parents, I mean, when I wanted more, I think I've always just wanted more, you know? I've always said, like, I don't want to be a dancer forever. I don't want to only be a dancer. I don't want to, you know? So my parents have always been supportive through, like, everything. I'm very grateful for their support.
They're still married, I take it. Okay, good.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, the few that made it.
I know. They're hanging in there. They are. Not that it's been easy, but they are my whole life, too. It's been great. They're a great example, for sure. I definitely want that.
Yeah.
You know?
I think we all want it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really going to happen in the new age because I feel like the new age is just so different.
I know. And I'm like, are we like leaning more into like the never get married era?
That's what I think. I told my twin, I'm like, by the time our kids are old enough, marriage is going to be.
You have a twin?
I have a twin, yeah.
Oh,
that's
cool.
why I said she likes Beyonce and I like Jay. And it's weird.
That's really
it's
cool.
Like they ended up together.
That's so cool.
So sorry, I don't mean to bounce around your story.
No.
So let's go back to when you're doing the Rockettes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're on this strenuous schedule. At this point, what's your next biggest play?
Well, okay, so I did the Rockettes. I did one tour with Beyonce. I did the Rockettes tour, and that gave me like a very diverse resume. You know, it's like, oh wow, she can do a lot of different things. So that was great, a great look for me, I feel like. But yeah, money was always coming and going, you know, because the projects come and they're great, but they only last so long. And then you're like, where's it coming from next, you know?
Are you budgeting, living like a budget life, or are your parents just kind of helping to offset? What's going on?
Yeah, my parents were in real estate, so the place I was living in at the time, I didn't have to pay rent, you know, so that was a huge thing. I didn't start paying rent until I moved to LA at 21.
Okay. Damn, you're all so young. Jeez. Damn, you're making moves for 21. You done been around the block at this point.
Yeah. I did. I mean, yeah, I'm so grateful that like I said, my parents' support and them like being able to support me in that way, you know, and so I could save because I was actually my first tour. I was really good, girl. I used to have like a stack of that per diem, like they used to give us cash.
Save it. Oh,
yes,
smart.
I loved having like I was young. I was 17, but this is my first like real job.
You're like, I can live off $10 a day. I got this.
Literally, I'm like, I'm just gonna use my card when I need it, and I'm gonna collect this cash. I came home and brought my family like a stack of money. I'm like, look at all the cash that I accumulated. This is the extra, and they were like, you're so good at saving. Great job. And then as you like, you know, time goes on, then you're like, I guess I'll buy this bag. I deserve it. I've been working hard, you know, and then you start treating yourself a little bit better. You get your nails done, you know, whatever. And you grow up and then you spend your money. So,
then you realize.
Realize you're not really getting paid that much. You're like, hold on. Your bills get higher. Everything is, and you're like, wait a minute. Yeah. Yeah. So it all like seemed great. I moved to LA when I was 21. This is after I did Beyonce tour. I did Rockette tour. And then I shot actually, while I was on tour with the Rockettes. It's so crazy. So right before I went, this is the thing. People don't realize like the sacrifices and the like crazy shit that you have to do sometimes in order to make your career work. So like when I was about to do the Rockettes, we were getting ready to shoot the Single Ladies music video.
Okay. Oh,
Beyonce,
the infamous
Single Ladies music video. But I was like a part of like the creative, you know, workshop process of the video. I didn't know I was going to be in it. I like basically kind of auditioned a little bit like the rest of them. Like we were like auditioning people that could match me and her. And then if it didn't work, they were going to go with short girls and I was going to be out. So I was like, okay, well, hopefully a tall girl comes along. That makes sense, you know? Yeah. And so once they decided on another tall girl and that I was going to be in the video, I had to pretend like I was sick girl for the Rockettes because I missed like the first 3 days of rehearsal and the Rockettes do not play. Like they're like, if you drop out, you can never come back. You will X, Y, and Z. So I literally had to play sick. Beyonce was in on it. I've told this story before. So like,
we want to hear it. You ain't told us it.
I know. It's crazy though. Cause like, I know the Rockettes.
You said Beyonce was in on it?
Beyonce was in on it. Like I would get calls while we were rehearsing for Single Ladies and, I knew that it was like Radio City people calling and I'd be like, you guys, it's them. And Frank like had a doctor like write me a note and all that. And they would be like, go take the call, take the call. They'd cut off all the music and I'd pretend like I was sick in bed and I'd be like, hey, yeah, I think I'll be able to like come in a day or two. Like, girl, it was crazy. It was crazy. And then as soon as we wrapped that music video, the Single Ladies music video, it was like a 20-hour shoot. It was like 3 a.m. or something when we wrapped. And I got in a car, went straight to like Pennsylvania or wherever we were rehearsing, somewhere on the East Coast, but not in New York, and started Rockette rehearsal the next day.
Geez.
And everybody thought I was like recovering from an illness. And I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was exhausted because I had just shot the music video, the Single Ladies music video the night before. And then like cut to like a month or something later, the video comes out while I'm touring with the Rockettes. And everybody's like, is that you with Beyonce? And I was like, oh yeah, we shot that a while ago.
Yeah,
like, I was like, oh yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. They're like, when did you shoot that? I'm like, right before, like, you know, like a while before I came out here. Crazy.
That's funny.
Yeah. So that iconic video came out while I was on Rockette's tour. And then after Rockette's, we go straight into another tour rehearsal because she dropped the song Single Ladies. She dropped other singles and then the album I Am Sasha Fierce.
Wow.
So we go on another tour. And then I moved to LA after that tour.
Okay. And at this point, you and her camp are like just obviously family at this point. I would say,
that
right?
like second tour that I did, that's when I got like promoted to dance captain. That was like my first little like money promotion.
And what does dance captain mean as dance? Just for people like me that don't know.
Yeah. Well, like the dance captain is kind of like the leader of the dancers. Like,
are you the one with the ruler? Kind of
the ruler.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but you better get that step right.
Yeah, I make sure everybody's like on their P's and Q's while we're on the road because people can get lazy or like do their own thing or, you know, like change it up, like do what the job is, you know? But also like if there's any issues, like the voice for the dancers, like come to me and I'll go to management or like, you know, anything. If management needs to talk to me and your dancers need to X, Y, and Z, you know, like the voice because it's a lot. It became a lot of dancers as time went on. It was like,
what was the best part of being on the road?
I mean, I would say just like the fans and like the performances, you know, the crowds and the travel experiences. Like I love being in different cities and experiencing the cultures and exploring, you know, the vibes of the city. So I love that. But the crowds, girl, are like insane. There's nothing like.
Is there ever any drama on the road?
Of course.
Like, do people like hook up? And
yeah. Oh my God. There's tourmances. There's
tourmances?
Tourmances. That's what it's called. Tourmances. There's fights. There's arguments. There's people who don't get along, you know, like whatever.
The freak out.
Yeah, it's like college. That's what it feels like. It's like, yeah, it's
Where's
like
the
living in
show
dorms
producers?
or something.
Go over
I know.
there.
I'm like, I cannot believe a reality show has not shot a tour. Like,
that's
I can't
crazy.
believe it. Because no one wants to expose like the truth, honestly.
I do like that Beyonce has been releasing these. First of all, I want to say she's like one of the first to do it, like where she's doing like the visuals behind. Yeah. I haven't been able to see the Renaissance one yet.
I haven't seen the film either, but I went to the concert.
Yeah.
And she shouted me out. She was like, Ashley, hey girl, we love you, Ashley.
And you were like, hey.
I was like, hey. And everybody who thinks there's drama, there's not. So there you go.
Yeah.
Because everybody thought there was drama, girl.
Really?
When I didn't do this tour, they were like, you got fired and you and Beyonce hates you. And I'm like, you guys have no idea.
I have this sick thing, like if people comment negative stuff, for whatever reason, I look at it. Like I feed off the negative, and then like if someone says like nice stuff, I'm like, whatever.
Oh,
but like, the negative,
does it like drive you? Like you comment back?
I don't comment back. I kind of chuckle because you know
the people that are negative
at
that too.
Like the people that are negative, they don't know nothing.
They don't know nothing. They don't know nothing.
They don't
so
know.
I know how to laugh it off too. But girl, it can get wild.
Really? Has any of it?
Can get crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy. And they're invested.
Did you see that show Swarm that Donald Glover put together? It was like about a superstar's fan base, and it was like everything was insinuating that it was the star was Beyonce and it was about the Beehive, but they never said Beyonce, they never said Beehive. But girl, it's like the whole like elevator stories in there, like everything. It's her whole story and her whole like fan base story. And I'm like, it's insane.
Does she ever talk about the fan base with you guys? Like about how difficult or how how it can be?
No, I feel like in the beginning, maybe like her publicist had said some stuff like, I mean, we've had talks for sure, just about how to like answer stuff or not answer stuff or answer around something or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, because in the beginning, there wasn't like social media and stuff like it is now. And so people would like run up to you all the time and be like, crazy stuff, like media type things. So yeah, we've had those kind of things. They're, she's very private. So
yeah, she does a good job at that. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I feel like I wish more celebrities did it, but
I know we got out of that, but I feel like we're eventually going to get back to the like secret.
I just want social media to die in a hole somewhere.
I'm so
and
curious
never come back.
where it's going to go. I'm like, what is happening with the world?
Yeah, it's a different breed.
It is.
So take me back to, all right, so you moved to LA.
Moved to LA, yeah, and that's when I was like, okay, really.
And your parents aren't with you at this point?
Now my parents aren't with me. But girl, when I first went on tour, like at 18, once I turned 18, my mom moved back to California with her husband and her other kids, She was like, I'm going back home. So I was in New York like those last couple of years by myself.
You must have liked that, yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. I like grew into an adult out there,
So you're out here in 21 in Cali at this point.
In Cali
We're going to go overtime, Jared. We ain't even got halfway to the story. I'm so sorry. But go on.
But yeah, 21, moved here. That's like really when I really like started expanding. Because at first I thought I was going to move out here, girl. And I was like, I'm going to be bi-coastal. I'm going to still have my New York place. And I'm coming to LA like when work needs me. Girl, I never went back to New York. I work kept me out here. I was like, oh, I guess this is where I'm going to be living. So eventually, like I told you, my family owned the condo in New York. So they sold it.
Oh, shoot.
So sad because now I wish we still had it. I'm like, I would use it now.
Yeah.
But I was ungrateful when I was 21, and I was stuck out here. I was working. I was a workaholic, girl. So.
And you're taking care of yourself. No parents help. You're living on budgets, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I kind of wasn't really living on budgets. I did a good job like saving, I did a couple good tours. And back then, like, touring was where you do save your money, and that's like the biggest thing.
Oh, because on the road you're not really spending your money, right?
Yeah, and I didn't have I wasn't like paying rent or anything, so like yeah, you could just save.
Okay.
And then if you save your per diem, you can spend that as your little extra stuff. But you spend your money easily on the road because you want to like wine and dine yourself and shop in the different cities and stuff like that. But when I was very young, I was better at saving my money because I was like stingy, but I still really wasn't making a lot. I just was saving better. But moved out here, wasn't really budgeting like that. I was kind of like enjoying my life. And I had worked with like a bunch of different artists out here, worked with like Neo, toured with him, Usher, another artist I toured with, Sierra, and then every other year, basically, I was going on tour with Beyonce. So again, like on the road, not home, whatever. And that was my reality, girl, up until 2018.
Okay. And then what happened in 2018?
2018 was the last tour that I did. And then 2019 I wasn't on tour. I worked on TV shows and other personal things. And then
when you say TV shows, what were you doing on the TV shows?
I did a TV show called Hit the Floor.
You were acting.
I was like acting and dancing. Yeah,
okay.
I had a role called Peyton, but I was a dancer on the show. And then I think I did like Dancing with the Stars and, just other award shows or like TV appearances. Like, what is this? The morning show. I shot an episode of that, like just televised stuff that requires dancing, That's what I do when I wasn't on tour. It would be like a year on tour and then a year at home doing like TV, commercial, films.
Are you able to have like a dating life or a personal life, or is that not
I have always kind of been in a relationship, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, from like when I moved to LA, I got in a relationship pretty much right away. And that was until 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2019, I turned 30. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
can't bring
Damn,
this
girl,
into 30,
you look,
girl.
yeah, you look good. All right, go.
Thank
I
you.
was trying to figure out. I love you was wondering. I'm like, how old is she, man?
I
She
know.
look,
I just like
all right.
gave it away.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm approaching 40.
Okay,
so, like,
girl, you don't look
know.
nothing like it either.
It's because the braids, man. They just pull your hair back a
I
little
know.
bit.
Snatch it all up. I know. Same with the bun. It's like, give me life.
Pull it back.
Yeah.
All right. So then 2020 or what have you? Were we at 2020?
Yeah, 2018 or something. Yeah. Well, actually, okay, so let me like give you this little tea. In 2016, that relationship I was in, he jumped on stage, girl. You can look it up. If you just type Beyonce proposal.
I think I remember that. Go on.
That was me.
Oh, he proposed to you on stage. I remember that. I saw that clip a couple times. What you talking about?
That was me.
You.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so what happened with that?
And then we broke up in 2018, girl.
Oh.
Yeah, because that whole proposal, I mean, in general, he did that for him, not for me. Like, I'm not even that kind of girl who wants that kind of attention, you know? He was desperate times call for desperate measures, I guess, you know? It was very for him. That was the beginning.
Was it like one
end.
of those, like when Offset jumps on stage with Cardi B and does the grand and she's like, well, was he like trying to coop a mess up or something, like trying to make up for a mess up?
I think he was just trying to get attention. Like,
okay.
Literally, as soon as it happened, he was like, we went viral. We got to capitalize off this. I said, oh, that's what you wanted. Got it.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like that. Like, you know, and then it was like the next year, everybody was like, when's the date? And I was like, I can't even envision myself setting one. So
wow.
It was very much the beginning of the end. But it was the best. Like, I needed that for it to end, that relationship. Okay. Because then the next year, like I said, I was turning 30. That was like the year I poured into myself. And then
did you do the whole like love yourself thing?
Yes, girl. Like,
was it hard to do that?
2019 was like the year of transition for me. It was great though. I needed it. And then 2020, the pandemic hit and I loved it. I was like, yes, we could stay at home. This is amazing. And then I just poured more into myself. Okay. And I was like, I love it. I love it here. And I still love it here. Yeah. Yeah.
I think of like the self-love thing. I even paid, this is really embarrassing, but I remember I actually paid for a course online. They never sent it to me on like how to do self-love.
They never
That's
sent
how
it
ghetto
to
I was desperate.
Girl,
I was like, how do you do that?
So my brand, Be Greater Than.
Yay, look at that pivot. Go on, please.
Period.
Hey!
We were gonna bring it full circle at some point.
This is how God works. Because I literally, I promise you, I paid. There was like a self-love course. I said, I gotta pay for that because I'm studying this and I don't really know how to do it.
You're coming in March. We're doing a March event. Yes. Okay. We did a soft launch in November, girl, in Atlanta. And it went over like better than we could have ever envisioned, ever imagined. Like, people were like, I didn't know how bad I needed this. Like, when's the next one? Where can we find more of these?
So what can people expect for Be Greater Than? And like, what was the thing that made you create it?
The thing that made us create it, so it's 3 of us, 3 friends who were all on this like self-love journey, Oh,
I love that. You guys were all in the same boat together.
Yeah. And everyone's like timing was a little different. I feel like I started it like before everybody else, and then they saw some things change in my life and like how great it looked, and then they were like, I need to love on myself more, and like it inspired other friends, and these are like close friends of mine who are like family, So once they jumped on their self-love journey, I was like, yes, I'm so proud of you guys. And that's like really where the idea started from. The Jasmine Harper, she's like another founder, one of the other founders, and Randy Bonds is the other one. But Jazz is like a little sister of mine. We dance with Beyonce together. She danced on So You Think You Can Dance, actually.
Oh, okay. That's who I mixed it up. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
from,
okay.
Yeah, from Be Greater Than. Yep. She, yeah, so she was from the show. We did Beyonce together, like have been through a lot together, And she was like, I really want to do something for myself, like something that I own, something that I am a creator of, the founder of, da da da. And she's like, I know I can't do it alone. Like I need you. Like I need your help, whatever. And I was like, I'm with you. Let's do it. And then we just started exploring. I brought in Randy. He's a publicist. He's been a friend of mine since the beginning of my Beyonce days.
Okay.
Since 2009, basically, is when we started working together. We were both 19. He found me on Facebook and he was like, I see like your stardom as not just a dancer. And he was like, I want to do PR for you. And we
Wow.
like, yeah.
Okay.
And so I've had a publicist also. That's been like something very different about me than like most dancers. I've had like a publicist or like a manager, you know, most of my dance career. And that has put me in like magazines or like in people's faces that most dancers wouldn't be in their face, you know, like Allure or, you know, I can't even think of the magazines, Essence, and, you know, just like tons of outlets, tons and tons of outlets. So that's been like very helpful, I think, for my career as well and getting my name out there. Where was I?
So we're talking about the inception of Be Greater Than.
Yeah.
I'm so curious now. You know, I'm going to hit you with like 100 questions. But
yeah. So me and Jasmine, she brought it to me and I was like, let's bring Randy in. He's on this journey too. Let's talk ideas. He's a publicist, blah, blah, blah. And so the three of us like just explored and, you know, talked ideas. And it was going to be called Be Greater Than Humble because we were always, you know, talking about how we are told to be humble, and we looked up the definition of humble. Have you ever looked up the definition of humble?
No, what is it?
It's
I
basically,
feel like Kanye talked about it at some point. But
yeah, other like rappers and stuff have, because it's like technically not like something that should be praised. It's basically saying to make yourself less than for others to feel like better about themselves.
Is that what humble is?
Yeah. And it's like,
It's
why
like
are
dimming
we
your light
dimming
to
our
me,
light
yeah.
so you can feel comfortable, basically?
I used to do that, to be honest, when I was for a long time, even being a twin, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's like, you know, you want to make everyone feel comfortable. So, you know, and I started doing it in relationships. Guys would, I would get like plaques, true story. And I remember the guy, we were engaged, and I just knew he started to hate my accomplishments.
That's what
and we
that
moved,
engaged relationship was too, girl.
Yeah. And
jealousy, basically.
Yep, I started to be like, anytime there was a plaque or an award, I would literally, there was a closet and I would hide it. And I just got in the habit.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I remember throwing out all my like my dad started saying like, you need to start putting your stuff on your wall because you seem to forget all your milestones. And I had these big posters, and I remember just throwing him in the trash and his brother being like, why are you doing this? And I just remember being like, well, clearly it's starting to become a problem in my relationship. So I got in the practice of dimming my light.
Wow.
And then after that, I was like, the next relationship, man, I just want to be me.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to be like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Fuck
and
it,
like,
you know?
you should celebrate that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you should heighten that, you know, and like brighten my light, not dim it.
So you guys were looking
so glad
into
you got out of that, girl.
Girl, I'm still learning, but I remember there was I did something for Nick Cannon. I did the Wildin' Out like booklet that went into all the CDs or stores, and I remember just hiding it from him. I remember asking for the CD, looking at it, and like when he came home, I threw it in the trash. I was still mad to this day that I threw it out, but I was so scared of him seeing these accomplishments because it just became the problem of my relationship. That's crazy.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. But I love the fact that you guys took the initiative to even look up Be Greater Than, because when you first said it, Be Greater Than, it's like Be Greater Than what? But I love that you eliminated humble.
Yeah. It's like, be greater than your insecurities, be greater than your traumas, be greater than your childhood, be greater than your mistakes, be greater than yesterday, be greater than anything, you know, like anything. It's limitless. So yeah, and that's the brand. It's a lifestyle brand. What you can expect so far, we've only had one soft launch live activation. So there, me and Jasmine, since we come from the dance world, we did a little like dance moment, but it wasn't even like for dancers. It was more so you can build your confidence and, you know, learn how to like hold your shoulders back and stand with your chest out and be proud, you know, like more of like a self-confidence booster. We had a guy come in who's like a martial arts specialist who taught people how to like break through their traumas, and they kept pounding on this thing until they released their traumas. They had to repeat a saying. I don't know what they were saying. We were teaching the dance class at the same time he was doing that. So I don't remember what they were saying, but they had to keep saying it. And people were breaking down crying, like, you know, in a great way. They were just like, oh my God, that felt so good. Like, I needed that. We had a woman come in who led us through breath work and taught us about the importance of just breathing and remembering to intentionally breathe. You know, we just sit around and like, be like,
I think that's really great.
Girl, I love it. Yeah. Thank you. Same, because it's so important. And you know, we really started this. I love that I can't see people cry, girl, either, because it makes me go.
All right, go on.
But like, we started this because we pour so much of ourselves into our jobs, our careers, other people. We forget about ourselves.
Yeah.
We forget about ourselves. And it's like, don't forget to pour into you. We have the power. We possess it all. Whatever we want. I'm sorry, this episode, people are going to be like, we can't even understand you. Stop. Get it together. Thank you. But yeah, don't forget about yourself, you know? Pour into you.
Yeah. So that's some of the stuff. And you guys thought through every different angle, from traumas to confidence.
Self-confidence to breathing to feeding yourself from the inside out with healthy things. We had a girl share her juices and her recipes and the reason why she's vegan and, you know, why we should go on fasts every now and then and just take breaks from meats or, you know, processed foods or whatever. Just education, you know, and inspiration and relatable people, like just people, you know, not somebody who we like look up to and feel like we can never get to that level, you know, just like
So right is it a couple days or how does it
was
work?
One day.
Okay.
The one in March we're planning for one day as well. It was like an 11 to 5 o'clock kind of thing, you know.
And how do people sign up for it?
We're gonna.
I'm gonna be on the list. Right?
Yeah, you're gonna be on the list, but we're gonna sell some tickets. You know.
No. I'll buy a ticket. I'm gonna just make sure I get to buy one before it sells out.
Yeah, we got you, girl. But we want people to be able to like have access to this and pour into themselves, and you know, remember the importance of that. Yeah. And it's a community, you know, and we'll continue to hold each other accountable in our other dreams and all of that. And same with holding each other accountable, you know, Be Greater Than wants to eventually expand into like clothing and, you know, like online courses and stuff like that too. But one thing at a time, because it's a lot.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. And then so the next one will be probably in March in LA.
Yep, in LA. Okay. And we're doing it in Women's History Month, so it's going to be for the women, but everyone will be welcome.
Now, have you gotten sponsors that have tried to be a part of it? Or
we have not yet, girl, because we did that soft launch. Just like we were like, we'll just invite like 10 people, and then like because we like knew some people, it became maybe like 20. But it was great, and then we have like press and stuff. So now we're gonna like put it out there, but we have not gotten sponsors yet, but we plan on it. I think that people will align with it.
Is it going to be just for women, or is it going to be for men?
It's for everybody, and we eventually want to do it for kids or like you know.
Yeah, I think it should start early, right?
We need this. Like I feel like we're all learning this too late, you know. Like if we were doing this in our 20s, like
I realized like I'm rarely ever single. You know what I'm saying? Girl. Like I'm like, I think the longest I was ever single was like barely made it a year, and that was me going. I was still technically dating, but as long as we don't have the title, if I could just make it a year. But it was BS. Same. It's like you're constantly distracting yourself from yourself in a way when you're in these relationships, or you're taking on some. You know, I don't drink or smoke or do any of that stuff. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. It doesn't do anything for me. Never has. Yeah. But I'm like, you know, maybe this is this escape that's not benefiting me at all at this point. Maybe I need to like me, myself, and I. So, and that's kind of the road you came to, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was in long relationships and fell in them, you know, like that's how turned into it or whatever. So when I was turning 30, girl, I was like, I need to pour into me, like self-love first. Whoever doesn't align with me loving on me, gotta go. Okay. You know, like literally my whole circle of friends changed.
Even your friends changed?
Yeah.
Okay.
My whole circle of friends changed.
Did you ever struggle with boundaries or anything?
Yeah. Of course. Okay. Of course. I still work on that.
Okay. I'm like my producer, shout out to him, like he's reading books. I don't mean to put your business out there. I love my team. Yeah. But yeah, he's like reading books and I'll be, let me, you know, be like, I'll let you check it out afterwards. But like I love that he's at his age, like even reading books on boundaries and stuff, and like just even learning that word. Yeah. And I heard with little kids, when they're little, you have to be careful because kids organically have boundaries, but then we as adults are like, well, no, allow this or share this or did it. And it's like, we really shouldn't do that.
We should pay attention.
They got their little voice, even though we're looking out for them. But that's kind of where the abuse of boundaries start, to be honest.
Everything starts at childhood, and then we have to like reteach ourselves everything in our adulthood. Yeah. And that's why it's called a journey. You know, it's constant, girl.
Constant. Your journey was constant. So take me back to the pandemic. So you enter the pandemic single?
Technically, actually, no.
Okay.
Okay. So 2018, I left that relationship where it was at. 2019, I'm pouring into me. Part of pouring into me is personal training. And I'm now in the gym. I'm working out, fall in love with fitness. And then I look
You actually
around.
can't fall in love with fitness? I keep trying to convince myself that, but go on.
I think you can. Yeah, okay. You definitely can. And, you know, for me, I feel like it was really like the mental benefits. Like it put me in such a better space, you know, and it made me make better choices throughout the rest of the day, you know, and just have more inspiration because it was me pouring into me, you know, and then everything else from there helped remind me to pour into me, you know. But during that, I met my current boyfriend now because he's a personal trainer.
Okay.
So it's crazy because he was so professional too. We were like literally just client and trainer for so long. And then I would like ask him like, what do you do out here? Like, do you have friends? Do you hang out? Do you have fun? Do you do anything at night? You know, you want to come out with me and my friends? Like whatever. So I like had to drag him out. Basically, I invited him out like 3 times. He always turned me down. And finally, like that third, he came and hung out. And like, that's when we like started our friendship, you know? And then eventually it became a relationship. Okay, nice. But he, you know, I feel like he was like sent to me because, yeah. He helped the timing and everything. And he has always been like an advocate of me pouring into me, you know?
Nice. So I like that. And then now we take you up to here where you're running this Be Greater Than
company business now.
And are you still dipping your toe every once in a while into dance still, or?
Yeah, I am. But I pick and choose where, you know. Unfortunately, I still feel like dancers are like the like lowest paid and least respected in this industry. So it's hard, like, you know, like sets and stuff sometimes that we have to be in, or situations that it just makes it hard for me to be like, yeah, I want to go do that now. I've done it also. Like,
can you share some of that?
A bajillion times.
Of the negative side?
Yeah. I mean, like, just like how, did you see that interview recently where the cast of The Color Purple was talking about and co-signing with Taraji about how they didn't have like dressing rooms or anywhere to like sit down, and they were like that,
like where they had to like, she had to ask them for like a ride to set or something,
food or whatever. Like, we don't have any food in our rooms. Can we get snacks? You know,
and you're on set locked on all day. You can't leave, right?
Yeah, dancers get treated like that a lot. You know, we don't have. If we have a holding room, there's no chairs. We're just on a dusty, dirty floor. You know, there's no snacks. Where's the water? We're dancing. We're sweating. You know, like.
Wow. That kind of stuff. Are they usually contractors? So there's no like labor laws or anything, right? Because it's contract work. Yeah. Get the freak out.
That's why television, that's why I started falling in love with that too, because that's SAG. There's a union. There's representation. You know, like people look after you. There's rules. You can't, if you work overtime, you're paid for it. Yeah. You know, like.
But now when you're a dancer and you're on contract and you have rehearsal, do they consider the rehearsal, do they help nothing? Is it like, it's scary out there because you look at these dancers in the videos and you look at them on tour and you're like, that's amazing, what an amazing opportunity, but you don't think them like sitting in a room just starving to death,
maybe eating one thing, or like not drinking water, or freezing maybe all day or something, like depending on the settings. It's crazy. And then it's all based on like those kind of contracts. If they're not a set like music video rate, like rehearsal rate is this, and then the shoot rate is that, and the buyout is that, you can negotiate whatever, you know. If it's a tour rate, you're like, I want $3,000 a week. Like you can negotiate that. But a lot of times they're like, we only have X. Yeah. And it's either take it or leave it, you know? So
the industry's crazy.
It's crazy. And a lot of times they'll take that main rate and cut it in half for rehearsals. Like that, then that's your rate. Weekly rate.
No way.
Not like daily. Yeah. Usually
Damn,
a
it's
weekly
rough.
rate. Yeah. So
I'm
the
glad that
weekly
people are
too.
starting to speak out about it because it's starting to like humanize
Yeah.
the industry for all these people that are on looking like you're a Taraji or you're this
No,
dancer,
yeah.
you're that dancer.
And that's why like even me myself, like I'm in the working smarter, not harder era, you know, like I've been a professional dancer for like 20 years almost. And I've done literally everything, worked very hard for it. And like, we shouldn't have to always work that hard. Like, we should be taken care of. We shouldn't have to beg for water. We shouldn't have to beg for, you know, certain things, or like a seat or a cushion, or like not dance on concrete or something, you know, like, but it happens all the time. And then like social media comes around and, you know, the rates are crazy and brands are paying influencers crazy hundreds of thousands
amount of money,
treating them like superstars, flying them out to this place and that place, and it's like, wow, we can't even like get that in the industry. You know, it's wild.
I got some friends that are influencers and the money they make is crazy.
I make more as an influencer than a dancer or an actor or something.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
The world has definitely flipped.
Yeah.
It's definitely flipped.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's a big reason why I didn't go on this tour.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like this
work smarter, not harder, guys.
Smarter.
It's not it's not always, and I think too in this age, like people are getting caught up in the likes and the followers. It's like, oh, I have 300,000. It's weird. It's like some people don't even have that much in their bank account, and they're like, I'm a superstar because I have 15,000 followers. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't say humble yourself, but do live in reality.
Do live in reality, yes, and be aware, and have a sense of humility, you know?
Yeah. But definitely live in reality. I always tell people, before you look at your likes and your followers, like also assess your bank account along with it.
Yeah.
Sorry, because
you have to.
Your bank account still matters at the end of the day.
It does. And you have to be smart. Like, rich people are where they're at because they were smart with their money, you know? A lot of them. Yeah. Unless it was just...
This is kind of random, but I'm deathly curious. Do you read a lot? I know we're almost done. I don't know if that's not even for us, but what books do you read? Are you a reader?
You know, I am not a big reader, but I am trying to be. So if you have recommendations, please send them my way, because that's the era I'm in now. I'm like, I need to learn, and like, you know, I'm always telling people, be a sponge, like always learn from everyone. So please.
I'm a booker. What I love books. But I'll tell you off camera. But there's a couple favorite books I have. But yeah, I definitely like to read if I have an opportunity. Now that I have a 2-year-old, every time I open a book, she like rips it out of my hand and she's like reading it. I'm like, that's for me. And then it's like the rip war. And
she wants to read it.
Yeah. So unless it's like the bear and the squirrel get along, like I basically have to hide my books.
Yeah. You like a physical book too. Not like the Audible.
I love physical. I've been getting into audio lately with her because otherwise there won't be that much reading. But I've been doing more of a like, it's, you know, I used to be all into business books, but now I'm all into like self-help. Please save me from myself.
Well, and your mom, you know, that's, you know, Jasmine also has a 2-year-old who I'm her godmom. And that's what made her pour into her, was having to prioritize her daughter and herself better and not be like a dancer who is just like jumping around from rehearsal to rehearsal at someone else's time whenever they ask for you. Like, she had to like prioritize her daughter and like work different, you know? And like, so she was like, I want to create something that makes sense for me as a mom, you know?
Yeah, I remember I tried to get these like books on like stay at home mom work or how to balance your schedule. But I think I was married, going through a divorce, but one of the things I learned was like I was taking care of everyone but me. And like I was always the last. It got to the point where I'm making my daughter's lunch and I make it like psycho level. I'm that parent that's like fruit, vegetables, snack, cheese,
it like has the layers.
Like they open the lunchbox and they're like, your daughter for one doesn't eat none of this stuff. But I'm like, you never know what mood she's gonna be in.
Yeah.
But then I'll have all these healthy options for her, right? And as many times as I do her
you're
fruit,
eating chips or
and
something.
I'm eating none of this stuff that's in the house, and I'm like,
what about me?
Like, what about you? Like, why can't you eat a blueberry or a blackberry or cut an apple? Eat some of the apples you're cutting, like, you know? And I realize like I'm
more about
everybody else. Mm-hmm. And I'll work 13 million jobs to make sure that every bill is taken care of and everyone's comfortable. I mean, my only sucky addiction kind of is I like to drive nice cars. That's like my only thing. That's okay. Like, but you know, once
that's okay.
Yeah, but
we all have. That's not a bad one.
It's literally the only thing. Like I switch them out like every 3 years, but I will say that like it's still not enough to just be like, okay, I got the car that I want for the next 3 years, or however long until the new one comes out. But that's not really enough to say I'm taking care of myself. That's just like. That's just now.
That's a nice luxury thing, girl. That you just that's like
it's like girls that have like
you earned it. Like you deserve that, you know.
But where can people keep up with Be Greater Than and shout out how people can keep up with Ashley?
Be Greater Than is on Instagram. Be Greater Than _ and then myself, Ashley CM Everett. On all social media platforms.
All right. So guys, if you want to keep up with Ashley, go ahead. And thanks for listening to another episode of Eating While Broke. Peace.